We gotta stop.
I'm the guy who wants to convert this railroad bridge into a hiking and biking pathway for people to cross the Hudson River and to enjoy the Hudson River Valley. This is the Highland end of the bridge, and not many people know that it looks like this. It looks just like it did when the last train went over in 1974. That railing you see on both the right and the left sides of the bridge has been there 100 years. Pieces of it are missing. And right here on the right-hand side, you can see where it's flopped over. The pieces that are missing and the pieces that break off are what come down on people on the Highland side or on boats or barges in the river. People think the bridge is falling down, and really it's just pieces of this hand railing. Further on, the catwalk that you see here as silver metal grating will be wooden as we go out on the bridge. And pieces of that wood also come down on the bridge, come down on the river. What I hope to have when this is all finished is a pathway across here that'll be the full width of the bridge. It won't look like this, but it'll be the same bridge. It'll be clear, and it'll have solid railings on each side, so it'll be very secure. We'll have a clear view of the river and the city, and the land on the Ulster County side. Those power lines, those high tension lines that you see on the right-hand side there that were put there by Central Hudson, they'll be taken down. Central Hudson's power now goes under the river. When this railroad track and railroad rail and railroad railings are taken off, I hope to save them. There's nowhere else that we could ever get a post or a rail or a railroad spike that came from the top of the bridge, our own Poughkeepsie Railroad Bridge. They're mementos that we could use and display, and they're certainly unique. Just as unique as this view that you're seeing right now. There's nowhere else to look down on the river from this vantage point. There's nowhere else to appreciate this Hudson River Valley and all it means to us. To be up here where it's so quiet, to see storms coming in, like those dark clouds in the horizon, to see the beautiful countryside on the Ulster County side there, to look down on our own Mid-Hudson Bridge, see the trucks and the buses and the cars going past, and yet not hear them. It isn't hard to imagine Henry Hudson coming up the river on the Half Moon. This is that wooden catwalk I was talking about. You can see the gaps in it. Pieces of the wood, the wind are blown out by the wind. They either land up on the rails or they fall down into the river. It's dangerous. But it doesn't mean it's the bridge that's coming down. It just means it's these flimsy parts. There's another gap. Looking into Poughkeepsie, it isn't hard to imagine when Poughkeepsie was a great industrial town.
7:42 at K104 with Mark Bolger in the morning. We've got 62 degrees, showers this morning, clouds this afternoon going up to 72. All right, Bill Sepe is on the line. This is the gentleman who wants to build the pedestrian walkway on the Poughkeepsie Railroad Bridge, and it's kind of a, it's been a heated political subject here in Poughkeepsie for quite some time. Bill, what is the name of your organization, first of all?
We're calling ourselves the Poughkeepsie Highland Railroad Bridge Company Incorporated, and we're incorporated, and it's not for profit.
Okay, and you heard about the bridge song that we have.
Yeah, one of the volunteers called me and told me about it, so I wanted to find out more about it.
Well, it doesn't really jive with what you want to do. It actually wants to blow the bridge up. But why don't you tell us, where do things stand now as far as that whole thing goes?
Right now, they stand very good. The Dutchess County legislature just voted to set aside the transfer of lien to the mysterious company called Skytrax that was going to purchase the lien for the middle section of the bridge.
And that was for bungee jumping purposes?
Nobody really knows what they were up to.
Uh-huh.
Nobody even knows who the people are that are Skytrax. They just know the name.
All right.
So it could be anything from a restaurant to doing nothing. It could be land speculators.
Yeah. Now, what about the bridge safety? What is the bridge like as far as structurally now?
Structurally, it's actually in very good shape.
Mm-hmm.
In 1980, a study was done, and it would not have cost very much money to put it back into use for railroads.
All right.
So right now, we have a study underway, which will be ready in October, which will tell us how much it'll cost and what will need to be done to make it into a pedestrian bicycle pathway similar to the one that goes alongside the Beacon-Newburgh Bridge, except this one will use the whole bridge.
Mm-hmm. Now, when did this strike you as something that you wanted to do, and why?
It started last summer, 1991, when I was reading in the papers about the Greenway program.
Right.
And part of that program was the fact that anybody near the river that allowed the Greenway Trail to go over their property, the Greenway would take care of the liability insurance. And liability insurance has always been the big stumbling block with this bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, my gosh, let's just let the trail go over the bridge. They'll take care of the liability insurance, and that's the basic scenario I've worked out of.
Let me just ask you this. Where is the money going to come from if it does go your way? I mean, it's going to cost a few bucks, I would imagine, to make this into a walkway.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other good thing that I didn't know when I started this, but there's a special federal fund that will pay 80% of the cost of this project. It's eligible for it. It doesn't mean it's, a shoo-in. There's a lot of work that has to be done, but this fund is generated by the highway bill. 10% of the federal highway funds are earmarked for what they call enhancements. These are things not actual roads, but like if somebody wants a bike path along a road.
All right.
If somebody wants to take down a billboard that is ugly.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wants to buy a railroad bed to turn it into a pedestrian bicycle pathway. This is what this fund does.
All right.
And so the money is competing with similar projects. It's not going to take anything away from the homeless people. It's not going to take anything away from Medicare. It's just
the separate fund that's been set aside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, we still have to come up with the 20%, but that's a big chunk of it.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess, so to speak.
Exactly.
Now, okay, so you want to build it into a walkway. If it does happen, how soon will it be done if things really move rapidly here? And what will people see once they get out on the old Poughkeepsie Railroad Bridge? What kind of barriers on the side will you have set up, all that?
Okay. As far as how soon it could be done, I guess the soonest would be next year.
If you started like today, right?
Well, I'm not really sure how fast the construction part of it will grow, but that could be relative.
Share this with everyone.